Operationally, you look at people in the hospitality industry, I would say let's look specifically at the food industry. A lot of those people are probably more of what I would consider the creative type people. Would you agree with that?
No, when you say food, I'm assuming you mean hospitality, not packaged goods, correct?
Right, right. So, like a restaurant, stuff like that, people that are designing menus or concepts or theme type bars or whatever it may be. A lot of those people, I find that they're more of the creative type individual, and that's why they're creating this experience, this menu, this type of stuff. They've got that artistic type of value in them that's kind of dominant. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, I don't, I think there's a shade of degree between artistic and entrepreneurial.
Right.
But I think they come from a similar side of the brain. And I do find that there's a lot of people in the hospitality service industry that are either and or both artistic and entrepreneurial.
But what I found out is that those people that are the artistic, creative, entrepreneurial type, they're the ones that most specifically lack the organizational skills as far as operations go. They're the ones that really struggle with getting a business to run profitable. They have an awesome idea, they may have an awesome menu, but how does it work behind the scenes? Our food delivery is coming in on time. Are you well stocked? Are you prepared? Do you have all those things lined up? And that's where they're missing the check mark boxes. It sounds like that's like, even with their own personal story, that may be some of the areas that you struggled with on the business management side of things.
Yeah, well, I always like. I mean, look, in the food service business, it's operational driven, and that's why they call them restaurant operators, because it's an operation. And where you really get success is when service, which is a function of operation, right, matches experience. Like when your service and your experience match and exceed expectations, where you have a win, right? So you do for a restaurant to really be successful, their operations have to be super tight, and then the deliverability is the food and the experience, right? Operations is what makes it happen. That's the other piece. And then I always like to joke that where the restaurant victory really happens is when marketing and operations have a handshake, and it's called markerations. Because marketing likes to write checks that operations has to cash. Hey, we have this great idea where we're going to do like March Madness, and we're going to pit this dish against that dish, and we can do this and blah, blah, blah. Like, yo, man, kitchen's still got to make that happen. So markerations.
Right. And it sounds close enough to margaritas that I'm totally bought in. So one of the things that you also do is that you have a SaaS company that I imagine helps those businesses on the operational side. How has the SaaS business, what does it do? Explain to us what the SaaS company is.
So I don't own a SaaS company. I'm not part of a SaaS company, but what we do, we are related to SaaS. So I'm a part of an it's complicated. Even my wife doesn't get it. She's amazingly genius. So Branded Strategic Hospitality we are an investment firm. So we take venture capital or funding and give it to early stage startup hospitality tech companies who are growing. And essentially they use that money for whatever they need to invest in. But we typically are only early stage investors. And we invest in companies that are very operational friendly. Like they're either owned by somebody who was in the restaurant business or somebody who has close relationship, because we want to invest in tech that actually helps operators to go faster. So that's what the firm does. My piece of the business, I run the acceleration piece. So, my investors who are the next room over here, the investor team, Jimmy and Shatsy, they will get capital and give it to a early stage startup SaaS company. And then when they want their sales to go faster, they call me and I help them with demand generation and content marketing and stuff like that.
Okay. So how are you then doing the demand generation for tech companies? I mean, because I assume you're not using the same email list that you're using for the restaurants, right?
I mean, I have a fortunate position, right? I have two sort of backgrounds. Like I said, I used to be an operator, so I know what it's like to run a restaurant. And when I left that restaurant, I realized I had the skill set to go help restaurants with their marketing. I went into SaaS. I've been doing marketing for software companies for years. You know, my last job, I was the chief marketing officer for a SaaS company that helped restaurants manage their menus online. So I have the experience of running a restaurant and owning a restaurant, and I have the experience of selling software. So I have the mindset for both. So it's easy for me to help somebody who sells software to a restaurant because I know exactly how the restaurant thinks and operates, right? And it's easy for me to help a restaurant with marketing because I have a deep understanding of the tools and their capabilities. And because I have these ties with branded, we sort of have best in class tools here. So I'm also tied at the tool level to know what are the best practices for that tool. And I can then go to the restaurant and be like, listen, you need this tool, and here's how to use it more effectively than anybody else.